Kevin, you're next.
Good evening. Thank you all for attending tonight's candidate forum. My name is Kevin McChrystal. I'm a candidate for re-election to the Heritage Mines Board of Directors. I am a retired CPA who worked in the public accounting sector and in private industry, working in various financial executive positions. My Heritage Mines volunteer experience includes serving as treasurer on this current board. I also previously served on the Finance Committee, the Long Range Planning Committee, and the Transition Task Force. As treasurer of the Heritage Mines Board, I have worked with other board members, the general manager, his staff, and committee members to help the association accomplish the following. Generated a financial surplus of more than $200,000 in 2009 and more than $300,000 in 2010. For comparison purposes, the association had a budget deficit in 2008. We used the previously mentioned surplus to pay for the new bar, the expanded fitness center, and the new fitness center equipment. We finalized a lawsuit with Lennar U.S. Homes that eliminated $1.9 million of debt from the 2009 financial statement. We funded the repairs in 2010 to remedy serious construction defects around the pool deck and the pool area. We increased the association's net assets by more than $2.4 million since 2008. Fully funded the reserve fund in 2010 for the first time in the association's short history. There were no assessment increases for 2011 and no operating fund assessment increase since 2009. This is recently, saved $80,000 annually from the 2011 budget with a new 5-year contract with Valley Crest. When I ran for election 2 years ago, an election flyer was distributed to all tubes in the association. I have a copy of that flyer, it's 2 years old. And in it, it's a pledge that I made to the residents if I were elected. And those pledges were, keep your monthly assessment at a minimum by controlling expenses, work to finalize the negotiation process with Lennar, address much-needed clubhouse maintenance and repairs, and improve communication with residents. I believe all those objectives have been met. Expense levels declined from $4.2 million in 2008 to $3.8 million in 2010. The lawsuit with Lennar was settled in November 2009. Clubhouse maintenance and repairs are on the way. Communication to residents have been improved with such things as the YouTube meetings made available through Bob Ferris, Secretary of the Board, the semi-annual State of the Association address, which was included in the last newsletter, and recent management reports to residents regarding amenity analysis and update on construction projects. For the next 2 years, the key issues facing the association will be funding and completing of the repair expansion projects, improving operational efficiencies in order to continue to keep assessment levels at a minimum. I feel it is extremely important that at least one member of a 7-member association board have a firm knowledge, understanding, and work-related experience with accounting and financial issues. I hope to fill that road for the association's board for the next 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Kevin? Since there are inconsistencies from village to village pertaining to design review policies, what would be your position in dissolving the village design review committee?
Well, the way we're supposed to be operating is that we're all under one umbrella. That's the Architectural Review Committee of Heritage Mines Community Association. So if there are inconsistencies, my suggestion is that the individual villages have to align themselves with the rules and regulations and the guidelines proposed by the Architectural Review Committee of the main association. And quite honestly, if they fail to do that, then I think the association's rules will overtake the village guidelines. And so that's going to create some problems. So I think number one, if that were the case, and quite honestly I'm not aware of it, but if there are, then I think the Architectural Review Committee and the general manager would need to sit down with each individual village who might not be in compliance and suggest that they change their rules, regulations, their bylaws, amendments, whatever needs to be changed. So that's my opinion.
Thank you, Kevin. The second theme for this evening is responsibility of the Board of Directors. The first question goes to Kevin McChrystal. Kevin, the question is, should any committee be headed up by a board member or should they be autonomous?
I guess my answer to that is it depends on the individuals we're talking about. It depends on the individuals, the backgrounds of the people on the committee. It depends on the individual, the backgrounds of the people who are on the board. In the past, we've had board members be chairpersons of committees. I think it's worked out okay. I guess my answer to the question is I'm not opposed to it. It just has to be in the right circumstances at the right time. But it is somewhat unusual.
Thank you. Kevin McChrystal. Continuity is a major issue with new board members replacing existing members. In this regard, what do you feel is key issue that requires continuity or resolution?
Well, certainly with new board members coming on, there will be some kind of training for them up to speed on it's on. Yep. Yeah, certainly with new members coming on, you do need some kind of a training day for them or training experience, I guess you should say. Probably more than that. Constantly learning as you're going along as well. But certainly to bring them up to speed on the Florida Statute 720, bring them up to speed on the budget, bring them up to speed on the issues that are confronting the board immediately that they can get on board with. In terms of continuity, I think one of the important areas of continuity would be an evaluation of the general manager. Certainly the people who have been on the board and worked with the general manager for a while, the new people would not have had that experience. As I mentioned too, the new board members would need to be brought up to speed fairly quickly on the construction projects that are going on. We've got issues as to how they're going to be funded, whether we defer the kitchen expansion until next year or can we do it this year. A lot of those are going to be key decisions. Certainly there are also some operational efficiencies that need to be improved. I think the board members need to be brought up to speed on that. So, I mean, there's a number of issues, but it's certainly understandable that new board members will be a little bit reluctant initially, but I think in time they come up to speed fine. They contribute just as well as a veteran board.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, I would echo Jay and what a few other board candidates have said. That I agree. This is an excellent place, and I think in the last probably year and a half, by completing some of the things that I mentioned earlier on, getting the lawsuit behind us, getting some of these repairs and maintenance of the clubhouse done, getting the new bar, the new fitness center, this place is really starting to shape up. And quite honestly, I give a lot of credit to the general manager of this current board. In terms of the future, as I mentioned before, we still have work to do yet on finishing the construction and repairs of this clubhouse. That needs to get behind us. We need to be able to fund that. We need to be able to look forward to see where we can generate internal revenue. My view on all of this is the last place we want to go to look for a revenue increase is assessment increases. We want to make sure that these operations are generating enough cash to cover as best we can the expenses before we go to assessment increases. And so those are the issues that I see going forward. A lot of them, quite honestly, are financially related. There's a lot of things that we'd like to do. The question is, where do we get the money to do it?